Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for another office hours training. I'm Crystal Elgun, your financial strategist, small business advisor. Part of my job as that strategist, be it on the business side or the personal side, is to help you create a solid financial relationship or a strong business base on which you can grow, right? And I also help you to have some aha moments. You cannot go through this journey without having aha moments and self-discovery moments. I also help you to see what no longer serves you so that you can release all of that so that you can soar. And all of that helps with the breakthroughs. And that's where you start to shift. That's where the magic happens, be it in your personal finances or your overall business. So welcome. And for the past couple of weeks, actually, I've been talking about some bad money and finance habits observed in us. And when I say us, I'm talking about Black folks, right? And when we think about healing and redefining our financial relationships, we have to peel back all of those layers in order to break those generational curses so that we can build new strategies for the generations that follow. So go back and watch those past episodes. This week, I want to touch on the importance of life insurance and overcoming historical and social economic barriers and understand that everyone has a personal financial relationship and it wasn't defined by you. It was defined by what you inherited generationally. I'm not talking about assets, right? And I've been talking about and continue to talk about some of those things, habits, thoughts that we have inherited generationally, right? And so what you inherited generationally, what you were and were not taught, what you did and did not have access to when you were a child, right? What you were told, what you overheard, what you saw, right? What happened when you went to school, um, your friends, your family, social media, TV programs, commercials, all of this, did somebody let you down? Life happened, all of this defining your financial relationship, and it doesn't work for you. So, the biggest thing that I love to do is help people redefine that so that it works in their favor, so that they can positively impact the next generation. Because when you understand that everybody's leaving a legacy, right? Everyone's leaving a financial legacy. The question really becomes, what kind of financial legacy do you want to leave for the generations that follow you? Because you're leaving one, a good one or a bad one, right? And life insurance is a critical component of financial planning, yet too many African Americans lack adequate coverage. If they have it, I typically find that it's inadequate, and then there's too large of a percentage that doesn't have insurance at all. And so healing our personal financial relationships, God, it is critical to our financial success. But in order to heal and redefine it, we have to be aware of why we operate the way that we operate. That's why I've been doing these sessions for the past couple of weeks and will continue this week and maybe next week and maybe the following week, so that we can understand why we operate the way that we operate in order to heal it, right? We can, because if we don't heal it, we don't point it out, if we don't name the thing, you can't fix it. You can't have the aha moment, right? You can't have the breakthrough to say, oh God, this is why I operate the way that I operate. And now that I have named the thing and now I understand it, now I can do something different. Now I can put a process in place in order to not stay that way and not to pass down those bad habits in thought practices to the next generation, right? So let's start with the historical context, the economic disenfranchisement and discrimination around life insurance. And so if you look at slavery and economic exclusion, right? So during slavery, African Americans were denied the opportunity to even accumulate wealth and assets, leaving them financially vulnerable. A lot of us are financially vulnerable today, right? And so this legacy of economic disenfranchisement continued long after emancipation. So during slavery, our labor was exploited. We had no opportunity to save, budget, or seek out and receive financial education. So the concept of having life insurance policy was unheard of, if even possible, right? And then the lack of access to education and the lack of money meant that African Americans often could not even afford life insurance policies when it got to a point that we could get them. So post emancipation, right? And then when you start to think about the Jim Crow era, African Americans face systemic discrimination in the insurance policy and, yes, in every other industry out there, right? But policies were often more expensive, less comprehensive, and harder to obtain compared to those offered to white Americans if they were offered to us at all. You don't see that much today, right? Because there's these major underwriting corporations, and it just is what it is when it comes to that price. What you will see though is that it may be more expensive for us a lot of times, because some of the things that life insurance policies look at is your age. Obviously, the older you are, the more expensive, just in general, it's going to be. But it also is looking at your health, right? So the more health issues you have, the more expensive it's going to be. So when you start talking about what are the things that are rampant, if you will, in the Black community, high blood pressure, right? Diabetes, obesity, right? All of that being rampant in here. So when you look at someone and say, well, my insurance policy, my premium is higher than, my counterpart or my non-Black counterpart. Well, it might be, but you got to look at what's your health compared to theirs. So health plays a major part of it. And that's why I always say we should be getting insurance younger, when we're more healthy and when we're just younger in general, right? And so you got to look at that, because life insurance is about the spreading out of risk, right? And if the unhealthier you are, the more risk that's attached to you, right? So other discriminatory practices such as redlining not only affected housing, but it also impacted access to financial services, including life insurance. And listen, when we think about that time, right, there weren't life insurance agents that looked like us. So you had to go to somebody who was going to give you a policy that was more expensive, a lot less comprehensive, and if they even came into your community at all, because they didn't value you, right? So why were they going to try to educate you and help you build wealth through any type of life insurance policy, right? And so part of my push is not just about ensuring that Black folks have adequate coverage and can understand and use the life insurance tool to protect assets and to make it possible to pass down some generational wealth. It's also my push to get more and more people that look like me in the industry. Now, there's tons of people that look like me in the industry right now, but I also want to get more young people that look like me in this industry, understanding you don't have to have a college degree for this, and you can make a really, really good living while having major impact on your community, right? So when we talk about that 2053 prediction of Blacks having zero wealth, the year 2053 is only 29 years away. So we can't wait until 2050 to start working on our finances to change that 2053 prediction of Blacks having zero wealth. We have to start today. So we always talk about, and you hear it all over social media, breaking generational curses and passing down generational wealth. Well, if the curse is going to start with you, then the new system of success must start with you. You got to get the tools in order to create those new systems of success in order to pass down that generational wealth, right? It's imperative. You can't do it any other way. So let's talk about my favorite thing. for today. And my favorite thing for today is that checkup, wills, insurance, powers of attorney. Not a checkup, but a consultation, right? And let's talk about it because there's so many different. Yes, life insurance is about that death benefit, but there's other things that people don't think about because they haven't been educated on the type of life insurance policies, on how you can use them, on what you can do with them, and we miss out on a lot of that. So that consultation is giving you some knowledge and then looking at your situation and saying, okay, well, you may have a policy here, you may need this amount, let me explain to you, you have some young children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That you wouldn't think about, and or that somebody else may or may not even go into detail with you, but getting the knowledge first and understanding, okay, wow, this is I do these workshops, wills, insurance, and powers of attorney. And one of the things that I do at the end of the workshop is I give them like 6 or 8 different ways in which you can use life insurance that people never thought of. And people are always, attendees are always like, oh my God, I never knew that. I never thought of that. But understanding the importance, and I try to make sure people get to understand the importance of it, um, and the value that it brings, especially when we start talking about protecting our assets and being able to pass down generational wealth. So do your free consultation. The link is in the description below. Let's talk about it. Let's see where you want, what you need, um, and go there and do that, right? And also go look in the description. There's the link for the life insurance calculator. Before you do schedule the consultation with me, at some point, do that life insurance calculator so that you can see, do you have enough insurance? Are you adequately insured? And I'm going to tell you this, there is no one that I've written a policy for. There is no one that I have talked to in a workshop or anywhere else that we've done this and they've been adequately insured. No one, right? So look for the link in the life insurance. Look for the life insurance calculator link in the description. Complete that. It'll take you less than 2 minutes. Complete that. It'll tell you how much insurance you should have based on those questions that you answer. And it might be like 3, maybe 4. Real simple questions. And you'll know how much insurance you need. And then schedule your consultation with me. That link is also in the description. And then in life, listen. I talk about and I say if the curse is supposed to stop with you, you got to put the new systems in place in order for them to get passed down to the next generation. You got to put all of that in place. But in order to do that, you have to learn it. You have to understand what it is. And you're not going to get it all in one setting. You're not going to get it all overnight. You're not going to be able to do this thing and create this plan. But starting to create the plan is vital, right? You got to start to create the plan. If you don't start to create the plan, guess what? You'll never have a plan. So here are those next steps. And we try to do things in bite-sized orders or step by step for it not to be overwhelming, for it not, because when things become overwhelming, we shy away and we just don't do anything. We stick our heads in the sand. So trying to keep you from doing that, but giving you a step-by-step play in order to make sure that you get the things done. So what are those next steps, right? Complete the life insurance calculator to see how much coverage you should have. Simple. Takes you less than a minute to be able to do that. Then you want to schedule a free consultation with me and let's discuss options. Schedule your free life insurance consultation with me. Let's discuss some options, right? And then fill in the gaps in the coverage. Where are you missing? Are you inadequate in coverage? Let's get you there. Do you have children? Your children don't have coverage. And I don't care what age they are, right? You may have grown children. They have no life insurance coverage. Well, they need an appointment with me so that we can get them coverage. Doesn't mean that you're going to pay for that for them, but they need some coverage. Do you have really young children? Then you need to get them coverage. Getting them into a permanent policy that builds cash value is going to give them, God, such a leg up in this world, such a leg up. So we're then going to fill in those gaps, get you and your children insured. And here's the thing. We always think, in like literally at the workshop that I did on the 25th, that was one of the things why when we just Q&A, and why someone did not have coverage in that room. And the thing that they said was, I just always thought I had time to get it. And that goes back to not understanding. One, life is not guaranteed. You don't know what's going to happen when you walk outside of that door, but understanding that the younger you are, the less expensive insurance is going to be, right? In most cases, you're going to be more healthy. And again, age plays a part. So the trouble is, you think that you have time. We don't have time to wait, and we don't have time to waste. Okay. So if this information has been helpful to you, please subscribe to the channel, share with somebody else. Again, we are underinsured in our community, and we need to do things different in order to break the curse, right? In order to break those generational curses, we have to do something different. Remember, if the curse is going to stop with you, then the new system of success must start with you. You got to get the tools in order to create that system of success so that you absolutely can pass down the generational wealth that we talk about and that we should be passing down, right? So always remember to give yourself some grace. Part of the reason that I go through this historical context is so that you understand how you got here, so that you will give yourself some grace and be like, okay, oh my God, right? And now that you have the opportunity, the knowledge, and access to be able to do something different, it's imperative that you do, right? So always give yourself some grace. Keep striving for your next level. You're not in competition with anybody else. You want to strive for your next level and the next level of your family. Never, ever, ever give up on you, and always invest in you. We also have to stop looking at things as an expense as opposed to an investment. You're investing in you because you're important, because your family is important. You are investing in you, and I promise you it's the best investment that you will ever make. And one thing that I know for sure is you will never, ever, ever regret it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you on the other side. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Be sure to join me for the private online Q&A immediately following. The link is in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on so you never miss this opportunity. Thank you again, and I will see you on the other side.